Work Talks podcast. I'm Kharizma, joined here by Just Awesome, Sam Dango, Assassin, and Ripper, as we give our thoughts on the world of WWE, among other companies in the future. So, what's up, guys?
What's
What's going on, man?
What's going on? Just Awesome here. Nice to be with you guys.
Yeah, it's great. So, we're here, the WWE Network team, soon to be Pro Wrestling Genesis. We're going to be talking about the road to WrestleMania, what went down this past week at Fastlane, RoadBlock coming up in a few days, as well as what's going down in NXT. So first things first, what's everyone's thoughts on the big story this past week? Past 2 weeks actually. Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker. If Shane wins, he gains control of Monday Night Raw against The Undertaker, of course. Hell in a Cell.
Don't everybody jump the ball.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'll go.
Yeah, you can start out.
This is an opportunity for Vince McMahon to step down a little bit, get rid of Monday Night Raw, and move into the backs of the company. Vince, he's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
So, between the poster child of WrestleMania with The Undertaker going on the legitimate son of Vince McMahon, it'd be a kind of cool passing of the torch. It's the one match that nobody ever thought they would see.
Yeah.
Everybody wants Undertaker to lose.
Yeah, no one saw it happening. I don't think anybody saw about 2 weeks ago Shane McMahon would be competing at WrestleMania, let alone in a match of this caliber.
I actually see it from a totally different angle. I actually think WWE is just testing the waters to see what they can do. Actually, I think I could see a double swerve happening here.
Yeah.
With actually Shane turning heel and Triple H actually turning face. That's what I see here.
I feel like that's coming with the Roman Reigns Triple H match is like the double.
Yes, exactly. So I see Undertaker. If the match between Undertaker and Shane goes before the Roman and Triple H match, we can see Roman turning and actually going with Shane and have Shane as a heel. Because if we all look at Shane, his best work has been as a heel.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Agreed, but I think this will be a perfect platform to help either the Wyatts or the Balor Club or the Bullet Club, whatever you call them, debut. There's no way. Let's assume Shane's winning. There's no way Shane's winning. I don't think so. I just don't see Shane winning clean. What if The Undertaker's about to win after a hell of a match? The Undertaker's about to win, but lights go off. And you see the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
Ray has been talking a lot about new gods and the old gods in his past promos. What if he means Shane and Vince? Shane's the new god, Vince is the old god, and the Bray Wyatt actually get to do something memorable. Like what's the one Bray Wyatt moment that you still remember that you're gonna talk about years from now?
Yeah.
We have so much for other wrestlers. We don't have anything for Bray Wyatt, and it's long overdue. So Bray Wyatt costing The Undertaker his second defeat at WrestleMania, and like, this changes things. It'll be fresh. It'll be new. Shane taking over WWE.
Actually, if we look at it, Brock Lesnar was lobbying for Bray Wyatt to have a good solid match with him, and I see Brock using his influences for them to help Bray Wyatt shine at WrestleMania.
That'd be good.
He kind of feels that Bray is being left out.
Just Brock versus Bray Wyatt's not happening, but this is what if Bray helps Shane win. That'll change the entire scenario of WWE. And if not Bray Wyatt, what if the Bullet Club debut? This should be we know how big the Bullet Club is, and a normal debut, just debuting in a takeover or at NXT or at Raw. I don't think that's big enough for the Bullet Club. What if a heel stable Bullet Club debuts and they cost Taker his match. That way, we could move on to a Finn Balor versus Undertaker in the future, and perhaps Finn Balor being the one who'd cause the Undertaker to retire now career. I don't know, versus title. I'm assuming Finn Balor will be champion or something of that sort.
Yeah. I think we probably be going with something to kind of make WWE have this huge scenario change, a big overhaul, because we need something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. And on another note with Finn Balor, it's going to be a tricky situation with him because if by WrestleMania he's no longer champion, anything can happen. If he's no longer the NXT champion, so a lot can happen from here to WrestleMania.
NXT title. Kevin Owens debuted with the NXT title. What's if Finn's not going to do the same?
It's because right now he's the face of NXT.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think they're gonna give the strap straight to Austin Aries or Samoa Joe just like that. They want to build that brand.
I can see.
Yeah.
I can see Samoa Joe winning the belt soon as like the little pass off.
Yeah.
I could see something of this sort. Finn Balor helping and the Bullet Club or Balor Club helping Shane win the match, and then since Shane has all the power, he says he's gonna add a third guy to the main event to the Triple H versus Roman Reigns match. And I know this might sound a bit early, but what if he adds like people were rooting for AJ Styles to win the Royal Rumble. People expected him. A lot of people said this would be the perfect way to end the Rumble. And AJ Styles is a big name. What if they add AJ Styles and Styles goes over with the help of the Bullet Club, or the Balor Club, he beats Triple H and Roman Reigns, and then we have Shane McMahon standing in the center of the ring, the Bullet Anderson and Gallows, and we have Finn Balor as the NXT champion, AJ Styles as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. That would be a WrestleMania moment I'd like to see.
It could possibly happen at some point. I'm not 100% certain. I mean, I can see AJ Styles.
It's just fantasy booking, but
yeah.
That's a moment over there.
We must all agree that this is going to be a make or break WrestleMania for WWE because they have a lot. The roster is very, very thin.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to do something and bring some people up and make some moves.
Definitely.
Break the attendance record. He's gonna need something.
That almost goes against everything that Sam, TJ, and I were saying in the previous Skype call. We were actually thinking that WWE had almost too many people on their main roster.
I wasn't saying that. Sam was saying that. I think I agree with they need more people.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. They have a lot of people on the main roster, but a lot of them aren't utilized because there's just too many of them to put on the show.
Which is why I think they should have an off season. Divide the roster. That way you could prevent a lot of injuries. Is these guys going 365 days working their asses off? Give them a break. Have them work for half a year and then let them take a little lighter schedule for the later half.
Yeah, while I understand that, I think when you talk about how the roster is the shows are pretty bad now because the roster is slimmer. If they had an off season and divided the roster, they'd be having the same problems they're having right now because there would be only some of the roster competing. Like right now, we've still got some big names still going. I mean, Brock Lesnar, he may be part-time. We've got Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose. I mean, we got quite a few names obviously on the shelf. So,
who's eating chips?
I think it's Juan. Well, just off.
Actually, it's not chips. It was that I actually dropped my phone and it fell on the grass, and I'm picking it up.
All right.
But yeah, on that note, back in the day, there was a time that they used to get, I think it was 2 months off, the top guys. That's how they used to go in and defend their titles on different territories. But if they do that, the guy will not be that fresh. When they come back, they usually were more propensed to get injured. That's why they took the off season out, and they had the guy work pretty much 303 days a year. So that's why they switched that up. Back in the triple WF roster, like the champion used to go to Deep South, for example, Puerto Rico, and defend the titles, and that used to burn them out. Because
Yeah.
no wrestler has an off season. If you're a top dog, you never will have an off season, especially being out there in the streets. Look at CM Punk. He's not in WWE. He still gets bombarded everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
So their off season is technically not an off season unless they're injured and doing rehab.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
quite
good point.
understandable. Yeah. On another note, we've got WWE RoadBlock taking place before WrestleMania. So, although Fastlane was supposed to be the last stop on the road to WrestleMania, we got one more show, a network special event. Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt. Triple H defending the title with Dean Ambrose. What are you guys seeing coming to this? Do you see it's just like a filler in between now and WrestleMania, or do you think some changes could happen at the show?
I just actually think what they did was they wanted to please Brock. Brock wanted that match with Bray Wyatt. He
Yeah.
really wanted it. And right now, if Brock walks out on them, they're pretty screwed. So I think they just did this pay-per-view and also to elevate Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose is going to be a wild card on that WrestleMania because why would they put him now against Triple H by himself on the match to main event what they call, a fill-in pay-per-view or pay-per-view? Something. Remember what happened when the Shield went against Evolution the very next night. Seth Rollins turned. So this is a kind of weird situation with what he's building here, or speculation toward moving towards WrestleMania.
Yeah.
This pay per view is going to be like, what's going to happen? It's weird.
Yeah,
It is weird. Like let's just say Dean Ambrose wins. Do we have Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose for the title, or do we have Triple H getting his rematch, or do we have Dean Ambrose defending the title against Lesnar? Do we have a fatal four-way or a triple threat? We wouldn't know.
I'd say the Fatal 4-Way would be the best scenario.
Fatal
and
Four.
most likely one.
Fatal four-way would be the best scenario, but who does not want to see Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar no holds barred street fight? That's one of the matches I'm looking forward to.
They could have that at Extreme Rules or Payback following the show, and they could have the title on the line if Ambrose still has it, or if Lesnar wins it.
But this would be. I have a feeling this would be Dean's WrestleMania moment. I personally think this is going to end like Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Dean's going to pass out to the Kimura lock. He's not going to tap. He's going to pass out. That's how I see. That's how I see this match ending.
Yeah, like they need to make Ambrose look quite
They're
threat.
not going to make Ambrose tap out, or he's not going to get pinned. He's going to pass out after a long fight. He's probably going to come closer than anyone ever has after the breaking of the streak. Probably closer than Roman Reigns in actually defeating Brock Lesnar's team.
Well, talking about that match, what you guys think is going to happen after WrestleMania with Brock? It looks like there's nothing planned for him if you look at it. He's a heel. Triple H is a top heel. That's why I say this WrestleMania is going to be kind of like a weird one.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what's going to happen afterwards.
Well,
Pretty much by this time, we all kind of had an idea back in the old days. Not who was going over, but pretty much the feuds building past WrestleMania. Right now, we don't. We don't know who's going to be heel, who's going to be face, what's going to happen with him, what's going to happen with her. It's going to be a very interesting WrestleMania, and that's what I like because that's going to sell. That sells. Uncertainty on wrestling usually sells.
Well, with all the rumors of like Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson coming out either extremely shortly before WrestleMania, or the Monday after WrestleMania, there is an immediate story for Brock Lesnar. They come in as Brock Lesnar's giving like a little farewell, and they just destroy him. They take down the Beast, and the Beast wants retribution.
That's a good one too.
I think Brock Lesnar needs to lose clean. Perhaps perhaps Lesnar loses to Ambrose. That way, Ambrose gets the huge momentum, and since Lesnar lost clean after the beginning of the streak, he can now go on to more feuds. It would make sense. Like right now, anyone challenging Brock Lesnar would be like, I don't know, challenging Satan himself. But if Lesnar can lose, it would make a lot of sense. Jay White challenging Lesnar or anyone else challenging Lesnar for that matter would make a lot of sense.
That's true. All right, so well, we've discussed Triple H, Dean Ambrose. We've discussed Brock Lesnar, Bray Wyatt. One other match on the RoadBlock card is for the NXT Tag Team titles, in which Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson defend to Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. So, what do you think of NXT getting a place?
SAWFT.
They're dropping the title and they're having their main roster debut very soon.
I think they should do more of these. I think, well, RoadBlock is a special event, so they should actually have NXT crossover onto these shows in the
They
future
should
as
have a
well.
title change. They should have a title change, whether it's an NXT title or a WWE title. They should have a title change. Otherwise, it'll just be another I don't know filler show. But they have a major title change or a major turn. People will be more interested in these in the future.
Mm.
Well, think about the
I actually see Enzo and Cash winning it. And Enzo and Cash are going to be as big as the Outlaws. I don't care what anybody says. Enzo with his mic skills, they're going to be huge. They're going to be, they're going to be like the Outlaws. Once they make the main roster debut, they just going to take over the tag team
They're
division.
phenomenal as a team. They're just phenomenal. There's really no flaws about them as a team. They are perfect.
Whoever
Their
watching
chemistry is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what happened with Billy Gunn. He was okay with Bart and here and there, but once they put him with Road Dogg, forget about it. They skyrocketed. That's what I see with these two guys. Like, they feed off of each other. Like they're like the perfect combination right now. And once they debut, I see them taking over the tag team division. And I imagine them feuding with the New Day. They all good on the mic. That's gonna be a hell of a feud right there.
Speaking of the tag team division, what are you guys' takes on Y2AJ?
It'll end before
It'll be
WrestleMania.
AJ heel. Y2J is gonna turn heel. He always does it.
Where did that tag team come from? I mean, you're feuding for weeks, and all of a sudden you're being pushed as a major tag team,
I
and
think
you're
it's,
getting a tag team title shot.
style.
I think
That
it's a
used to be
respect thing.
80s type of how they used to work a heel turn and a major heel turn. Two guys will feud for a couple of weeks, then they'll put them as tag team. One of them will turn, and boom, we have a huge feud going for months and months. They used to do this in the 80s a lot. They did it with Tito Santana and Rick Martel. They did it with so many people. It's an old trick to put the new guy over and then have the veteran actually, turn on him. Like, even though they both veterans, but the veteran in WWE being Chris Jericho turning on the new guy. They usually used to do that back in the 80s.
AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho at WrestleMania and we've seen if they make it a gimmick match, it would be pretty rad to see Styles versus Jericho go at it one more time.
Yeah.
Well, so far, there's not exactly much of a story to build up a WrestleMania match between Y2J and AJ Styles.
Well, it could be.
It's not like. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it could carry on past WrestleMania. I know people will probably get tired of it eventually, but if AJ Styles beats Chris Jericho at WrestleMania, I mean, I know Fandango beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania a few years ago, and that amounted to nothing. But this is AJ Styles, so I think if he got a victory over Chris Jericho at WrestleMania, I mean, I know he got it at Fastlane, but it would elevate him even further, and we'll probably see an Intercontinental title feud develop after WrestleMania.
Now, that would be something I would love to see.
Speaking of the
I don't know about you guys. I see this being built as a Daniel Bryan thing too with AJ. I'm sorry. They like slowly bringing him in so he can actually earn his spot in WWE. And I see this like Daniel Bryan trend where the fans are gonna go crazy, and he's gonna get his title shots and his opportunities due to the fans, not because of the writers. And I see him little by little turning into what Daniel Bryan did when he debuted, and management didn't want to do much with him, and the fans actually were the ones who pushed the hand of the writers and the producers in WWE. I see that happening with AJ.
His T-shirt was sold out in like 2 hours or so after the Royal Rumble.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, so we got a couple more topics to discuss. We got about 19 minutes left. First, I'm gonna give out a shout out to one of our admins, going by the tag That's the Spirit. He couldn't be on the podcast, and he had this to say. First of all, I'd like to say that I'm excited about the future of this page and the people involved in this new project we have. All the greats have their own podcasts, guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin, good old JR, Chris Jericho, and my personal favorite wrestling podcast, The Human Suplex Machine, Taz. So we all thought it's good enough for these guys. We should jump on the podcast bandwagon, right? And I think we've kicked off this podcast great tonight. So I think we're definitely going to be keeping this going as a weekly thing. We'll be providing links on the WWE Network and Pro Wrestling Genesis. So keep tuned into these podcasts as well. Currently here with Just Awesome, Sam Dango, Ripper, and Assassin. One more thing I want to discuss is what do you guys think is going to be the outcome of Roman Reigns versus Triple H at WrestleMania 32? What are you looking
Before
at?
we come to that, that's the main event. I was going to ask you guys, what are your takes on the IC title? Will you see a multi-man ladder match or a one-on-one feud?
I could see a multi-man ladder match. I think they should make that a tradition.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, we're still here.
I'd say they should do that for the US title because we have Risto would be perfect in a ladder match. Instead, have Kevin Owens, I don't know, have a one-on-one feud against someone.
It looks like he could be facing Big Show, unless that happens at RoadBlock, because you never know, that match could be put onto there for the IC title. I think that's what's going to come to it.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Big Show versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania would make sense. I know a lot of people say Big Show should retire, but
I disagree with that.
Yeah, so do I. Let's face it, Big Show's a huge name. A lot of people know the Big Show.
Literally.
So just imagine Kevin Owens pop-up powerbombing Big Show in front of a sold-out crowd. Just imagine what would it do for Kevin Owens. People who have never heard about Owens but have obviously heard about the Big Show would be like, holy shit, who's this guy? And that'd be great for Owens.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I hate to do this, but I gotta cut out a little bit early.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
So, thank you guys so much for having me, and I can't wait to listen to this thing in its entirety.
Yeah, we'll be uploading.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Thank you, guys.
Goodbye, man. All right.
Back on the Kevin Owens note, I don't know. With Kevin Owens, the way they bring him, it's weird as well. He's not being brought up the way I thought he was gonna be, developing in the main roster. But facing the Big Show will catapult him a little bit more. But right now, I'm sorry, the Big Show is kind of irrelevant right now in the roster. He's just a guy that just put a strong guy over. He's not that force that he was once known as. I don't know about you guys. I don't see him as strong as before, especially with his injuries. Sometimes when he's out there, I'm afraid he's going to just break a leg or tweak his knee again. He's not the Big Show that we all grew up watching. We must admit that. And putting him with Kevin Owens, which is a stiff wrestler, it might not be the best bet for Big Show.
That's a good point.
I'd agree to that, but Cesaro's big WrestleMania moment was eliminating the Big Show, and we saw how over Cesaro got with the fans. Owens is already over, and just the idea of Kevin Owens powerbombing the Big Show, I don't know.
You think he can actually take that bump? Remember last time he took a powerbomb, how Kevin Nash nearly ended his life, not his career, his life. When Kevin Nash tried jackknife powerbombing him, dropped him on his head. He's a big dude. He's not just a tall dude. He's almost 600 pounds.
Yeah.
It's him taking that bump actually end his career after that neck surgery he ended up having to have when Kevin Nash dropped him on his neck. Like it's and especially with WWE and this impact testing and all that, a lot of these wrestlers don't like taking power bombs anymore because of that. And if you've heard Mick Foley's podcast and his interviews, WWE are very, really strict with this impact testing they're doing now. Him taking that bump can actually mean a career-ending injury for him. That's the way I see it for the Big Show. I've been following him since he was giant. So, for me, he was one of those guys when he debuted I was wild about. But right now, he's very injury prone, and taking a bump like that can actually really, really mess him up.
Yeah. One more topic before we get on to Roman Reigns taking on Triple H at WrestleMania. American Alpha, the NXT tag team, very over with the London crowd at NXT TakeOver a couple months ago. How long before you can see these guys on the main roster? I mean, they've only been around. They've been around a couple of years now.
They'll be on NXT for a while, but they are my favorite tag team at this moment in the WWE, not just NXT.
Yeah.
They remind me of Team Angle. To be honest with you, they do.
Yeah, Kurt Angle actually brought that up as well.
Kurt Angle actually gave them props and said that at one point he would like to work with them, be their manager, be their third guy, like the Freebirds used to be, or like New Day. But these guys, they don't need Angle. They actually could just be them, because even though they have that same trend that Team Angle had back then, these guys have their own charisma. They're strong. I love their finisher. These guys, I see them debuting soon, like after WrestleMania, probably a couple of months after. They can actually make, I don't know, them and Enzo and Cash. I think as the tag teams, those are the two that I see debuting sooner than anybody else in the main roster.
Would you think Jason Jordan has been in NXT for too long? Because he was there when it was FCW, so he's been there for about 4 years now.
He's one of that's what I was thinking. He's one of, actually, you just read my mind. He's actually one of the lone survivors of the old FCW.
Yeah.
So I think it's time. He's paying his dues.
Yeah, obviously when Jason Jordan comes up, no doubt he'll be followed by Chad Gable as well. I think they do have a bright career ahead of them in WWE, but I think they'll be the NXT Tag Team Champions before they come up to the main roster. But I can't see them as, I can actually see them as the WWE Tag Team Champions before the end of this year. I can see it happening at some point. Anyone else see that?
I'll agree to that. What about Hideo Itami? Like, if Kurt Angle is, I don't see Kurt Angle signing in with WWE anytime soon. So what about Hideo Itami returns and he's the third guy in their team?
That
would be pretty interesting. I'll give you.
That'll be weird.
Team, but Hideo Itami does have the technical wrestling background, and pin them up with these guys. You wouldn't have an exact Team Angle, but he's not a submission expert, but you'd still have this one guy who's an expert in technical wrestling, and you'd have these all-American tag team. I could see that happening.
Yeah, I could see that happening as well. All right, so we've discussed NXT, we've discussed RoadBlock, main event of WrestleMania. At least I think it's going to be, unless Shane and Taker does take that spot. Roman Reigns challenging Triple H for the WWE title. So, what are you guys' thoughts on that match, first of all?
My thoughts on that one is it's again, like, it has so much uncertainties, because I believe whenever I see what JR has to say about WWE and about their writing, every time he makes a comment like the one he made last week about seeing a double turn, Hunter being face, and at the end of the night Hunter being faced and Roman being a heel, a very possible scenario. I think the same thing. I think it's time. I think it's time that they turn Roman if not a heel, but like a more aggressive guy. Like have him, like grab a chair and beat the snots out of Hunter, then beat him. Like he needs to. They need to put like more aggression on him, and that's if they do a double turn, I think 3 months later, 4 months later, they could do what they did with The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock was hated when he first debuted, then he was loved, then he turned, and once he came back as a good guy, forget about it. The rest is history. We all know the great one was born, the Brahma Bull, the People's Champ. I think he needs to go back and then turn again what they did with The Rock. And if we all remember what The Rock did to Mankind when he turned, he beat the snots out of him with a chair. I think, what was it, 12 chair shots to the head, gave him 2 mild concussions, broke 3 of his ribs in that match, and the rest is history. The Rock is who he is today after he did that turn.
Yeah.
Because The Rock, if whoever remembers The Rock, he debuted as Rocky Maivia. People hated him. He joined the Nation. Then he had this little baby face turn for a couple of weeks, when he did what he did to Mankind, forget about it. He was the most hated heel. Then when he turns babyface, he was the best babyface. I think Roman, either way, as a heel or face, he'll walk out as a champion. That's the way I see it. No matter which way we go, he's gonna walk out with the title.
When you brought up the Nation of Domination, I was thinking if Roman Reigns were to be in some other faction of a sort as a heel, who would actually be a good,
Usos, a modern day Wild Samoans. I've been saying that for a long time. Like in my posts, the Usos and Roman Reigns forming a modern day Wild Samoan faction.
Yeah.
It won't be an exact replica of the Wild Samoans. It'd be more like the legacy. They'd be like, I don't know. Hey, we belong to a huge wrestling family. We are bigger than you. Something of that sort.
Exactly, and if they throw in Tamina and Nia Jackson to the mix,
Exactly.
forget about it.
Yeah, that'll be rad if we had Tamina and Nia Jax as part of that faction, especially with Tamina currently just not doing much except managing Naomi. I think it would be a big step up as well.
Yeah, Tamina has what I always call a woman who do what Tamina does. She has the China job.
Yeah.
Pretty much being the enforcer in the corner, which will work great with a heel faction, male faction. Have that female in their corner who will stand up to guys and beat the shit out of them too.
Yeah, I get that. I think that would be a great way to go. So a lot of people obviously reacting negatively to the fact that Roman Reigns is in the main event of WrestleMania for the second consecutive year.
I hope they do something unpredictable. It's very predictable because like it's all I know this will sound stupid, but it's almost certain that Triple H is losing because I don't see him holding the title after WrestleMania. It's almost like we know what's gonna happen. I don't see it. Even if Roman Reigns wins, it's either gonna be a heel turn or maybe a third guy walks out with the title. Triple H is not holding the title post WrestleMania. I don't see a clean finish. I don't see what they're looking for. Roman Reigns beating Triple H clean. He gets his revenge. His story, his entire story comes to a full circle, and then he moves on to a new chapter. Has a new challenger. What I do think might happen is Dean Ambrose interfering. But honestly, I don't see Ambrose signing with the Authority wearing a. I don't see Ambrose as that guy. He's not that guy. They might have a different ending. They might have The Rock come in and turn against Reigns or help Reigns. Also about the double turn, I don't think there's gonna be a double turn because if they wanted to turn Roman Reigns, they had plenty of other options when they could. Because like last year when like it was the Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, they could have had Roman Reigns destroy Daniel Bryan. That would have been a huge. Daniel Bryan was pretty over.
Yeah.
Lesnar was over as well. They could have had a double turn back then.
But you're forgetting a big wild card here. Remember, when Seth comes back, he's not going to come back as a heel. He's going to come back as a face. He's going to be so over, he's going to come back as a face. He's going to need a strong heel to actually go after that title. who better than Roman Reigns destroying everybody?
Exactly.
And two War Machine members. That's the wild card here, because we all know no matter what happens, that title once Seth Rollins come back is going to his waist. No matter what, people are actually praying for him to come back at WrestleMania. And once this guy comes back, he's going to come back as, no matter how heel he tries to be, the fans are not going to let him be a heel.
Yeah. On a Ripper's topic about like The Rock coming in and helping Roman defeat Triple H, I think I will obviously set up the Rock v Triple H match. It's been rumored since WrestleMania 31.
For a while. That's been teased for quite some time.
Yes.
So possibly at SummerSlam or WrestleMania 33, we could be seeing Rock face Triple H. And at SummerSlam, I can see a Shield triple threat match between Ambrose, Reigns, and Rollins for the world title, with Reigns likely being the champion at the time. And who knows who's going to win out of that? I mean, Rollins could reclaim his title, or Ambrose could win his first world title. So it's
that's Ambrose winning his first world title. It's long overdue.
actually, I should just point out that our admin, That's a Spirit, just pointed something out, that Reigns versus Rollins is a due matchup because both times it got booked, one of them got injured and it didn't happen. Yep. Night of Champions 2014, Reigns had a hernia surgery, and at Survivor Series last year, Rollins obviously suffered that tear, which has kept him out for the last 4 or 5 months.
Thank you. That's exactly what I'm saying. And Roman turning heel. And another twist that we could throw in there. Let's say freaking Shawn Michaels and RoadBlock try to interfere in the match. We have the Usos come out. Boom. They could build a new stable there as well. There's so many ways they can go right now, because Shawn has said he's going to be there. Road Dogg is going to be there. X-Pac has been invited to WrestleMania as well. And we all remember what happened last year with Sting and Triple H. That the NWO came out, DX came out. There's so many ways that they could book this. That's why it's going to sell. People are like, oh, they're not going to sell out. They are. This is going to sell. It's going to sell.
Over 99,000 tickets already sold for WrestleMania.
Exactly. My point exactly. Like yesterday, I was having a discussion with one of the guys, and he was like, oh, they're not going to sell out. I'm like, they're going to be very close to selling out, just because of the uncertainty of this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like, you don't, like, we all know that somehow, some way, Roman is going to win the title. Like Ripper said, unless something crazy happens, because we never know. We never know what could happen. You know how WWE book stuff. Sometimes they're predictable. Sometimes they just go blah and that's it. Like, there's so many ways they can go. What if The Rock comes and freaking rock bottoms Roman Reigns?
Yeah, exactly.
And we have Hunter beat him, and then that builds another feud there.
If they do want Roman Reigns as a top heel, like for Seth Rollins when he comes back, shouldn't like Roman he gets a lot of negative reaction, but what if he just he destroys Ambrose? Ambrose is pretty over right now. What if Roman Reigns costs Ambrose the match against Lesnar?
I think Dean Ambrose is as over as Daniel Bryan was when he was at his peak.
Yep.
So you're saying
or actually scratch that. Ambrose should be as far away from the Roman Reigns Seth Rollins storyline as he can at this moment, because let him have different feuds. Let him develop, let him have his feud with Lesnar, then let him move on to different feuds.
Yeah.
And we might actually get Triple H, Dean Ambrose after WrestleMania, because you never know. They have been teasing that as well. Not for the title, but I can totally see Ambrose as today's Stone Cold Steve Austin, or today's Dean Ambrose, or the first Dean Ambrose, definitely the first Dean Ambrose, going against Triple H and the Authority, if Triple H is still the Authority after WrestleMania.
Yeah, well, that's actually a pretty good way to go about things as well. I mean, so you kind of think that Ambrose, extremely over, will he be champion at the end of the year? Do you think that?
I hope so. I hope so. Or I have another feeling. I think Ambrose is gonna. They're waiting on Dean Ambrose. They had him unofficially win once, which against Seth Rollins, but it got taken away. I think since they're I think when the longer you wait, the sweeter it's gonna get. When Ambrose wins it, he's gonna get a huge pop. possibly one of the biggest pops we have seen in recent memory.
Yeah,
There's a
okay.
chance she might win next year's Royal Rumble and finally headline WrestleMania, win the title at Mania. There's a chance she might win it by the end of this year. Anything can happen.
Well, okay, so
There's
that,
a, just one sec.
yeah.
There's another angle. Let's say Shane McMahon wins and Shane goes into power. That way, the only way Triple H stays relevant is if he has the world title with him. What if Triple H retains and Shane McMahon does everything to Triple H that he's been putting, top baby faces like Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, John Cena. True. What if he does? What if they do something of that sort? What
Yeah.
if it's Triple H and Shane McMahon post WrestleMania? Because I like it how you're all just assuming there's no way Triple H is retaining the title. But what if? Just what if?
We'll have to wait and see until WrestleMania 32. I can see a Triple H chain being possible. But for right now, we're out of time. This was the first episode of the Network Talks podcast. We will be coming to you every single Monday between now and who knows, maybe eternity. So thank you to Simdango, Ripper, Just Awesome, and Assassin for being a part of the podcast. Check out our page, the WWE Network, the Wrestling Network, and soon to be launched Pro Wrestling Genesis. This is Kharizma, and I thank you all for tuning in here tonight. So goodbye.